All right. Hello, ladies, and welcome to our interview this week. We have a special guest. This is Natalia. We have known each other for many, many years, and we have had many ups and downs in our bodies and our lives, of course, over the last 20 years. And so I am so excited to have you guys hear and get to know Natalia and hear her story a little bit. It's pretty similar to mine, honestly. We have a very similar type of story of what it was like and what's going on now. But I'm so excited to hear what you have to say. So first of all, Natalia, welcome and thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Yay. Okay, so you are a client and a member of my Butt in the Jeans signature program and have been for a little while. And I think it would be nice if you just shared with the ladies here today what it was like for you before.
Um, that's a big question. um, I guess I'd say what I've learned was kind of the biggest hurdles and challenges from before is just that I've just always, as far as food goes and all this kind of stuff, I've always like centered everything around that. It's been like a social thing for me of going out to eat in places and nostalgia that I reminded of. um, I didn't realize until I started utilizing your program, though, how much mind chatter went on inside of my head all the time around food. So I was always distracted by um, just thoughts about food, like if I should eat something, or just if anything was around, or if we were driving by somewhere, or if I was walking through someone's house and they had a bowl of nuts, or if there was going to be birthday cake at the party, or blah 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 blah. As crazy as it sounds, that's how it was in my head until I started measuring the for me, with the part of the program where you measure the portions. I it like just shut my brain up. My mind was always saying when and how much and should I, and instead it was like, this is how much and this is when. And then it was just like, wow. So I've had such peace and serenity. Um, but yeah, so it pretty much just controlled and ruled my entire life.
Thank you for sharing that. I definitely relate to that as well. And I know that you have done that before, right? You've had a very similar food plan before, as I have as well, where it's like when we've been talking about this for many months, like cutting out the processed foods, the sugar and the flour and that kind of stuff, and really getting into having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and what that looks like, and portion size and all that kind of stuff. And I know for me, there seemed to be a missing link. There was something amiss in the just focusing on the weight loss and the food, which is nice and wonderful. And this is one of the things that I mentioned in the lesson a couple days ago is, the mindset. There is something that was missing when I didn't address the stress and my emotions and the way that I think about food and the way that I think about my body. So will you share a little bit about what that kind of journey has been like for you?
Yeah, I think I heard what you were saying. My mind drifted for a little bit toward the end there. I apologize.
Okay.
Oh, I thought I heard one of the kids. So I'm hoping I'm speaking to this correctly. At the beginning, I thought this is what I was going to talk about, but when I have been in a similar program, in that there's weighing and measuring food, and that's great and wonderful, but especially recently with the stresses of all of our lives, and then a lot of added stress that's been coming into my life, I have not at times like eaten what I wanted to or planned to or whatever. And then I just find that, and like I said, I hope I'm speaking to your question because I did drift off there for a minute, but what I'm experiencing right now is just the compassion and the openness and the accountability in the group that you have to offer. Mainly the compassion and the love and the openness, has really helped a lot. I mean, for various reasons, my not eating what I would prefer to be eating for like a day and a half or something like that has happened a couple of times now. And, typically it would be just this, like bashing, like with food, basically, just like almost trying to harm myself, and beat myself up, but with food, which may sound kind of strange, but to some people, but, you know, that's been something that I'm learning that I've done to myself. And instead I have this, like, it just doesn't feel good inside when I'm eating like that, the way that I feel and everything. And instead of it being some kind of blame and shame so that I just continue with the behavior, I'm like, wow, I really want that other thing that I had, or something different, at least than this. So what's my goal? And then I, just like you call it, course correct. And it's just so beautifully perfect because, life is freaking wild and it needs to be allowed. It has to be allowed. I've been in a program where it's not allowed. And I have been in a place in my life a very long time ago where when I was very like scared and didn't know what to do in my life around things that were out of my control. And I was extremely controlling. I've worked really hard to be someone who can go with the flow and be in a loving place. And so that rigidity and that all or nothing, this or nothing, it doesn't work for me. It's not going to work for me, and I don't want it to work for me. But what I found here is just this love and support and compassion. So what I want is what I'm doing. A day and a half of what wasn't really awesome, and I used to whatever, I don't know, self-medicate or just because it was easier, because this has been crazy, but that's not what I want. And I just get to very easily go to what I'd like to be doing. And today so far has been lovely. So.
Yeah, I love to hear that. You said that so well. It's like, what I want to be doing is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
God, I almost feel a little bit emotional and teary-eyed with how many times I would be eating the way that you're talking about and not wanting to really do it, not wanting to do it anymore, or waking up in the morning and promising myself that like today is going to be good, I'm not going to do it, and then ending the night. And sometimes it wouldn't be so much mental torture. Sometimes I had a legitimate reason in my mind, an excuse, but it was always going to bed that night going, what? I wasn't going to do that. And then the promises of the next morning, and then the clothes not fitting right, and then not having the energy that I want, not feeling the way that I want, and being embarrassed or whatever. Like there's so many layers to the emotional torture that I put myself through. And you spoke to it so well. It's like the insides and the outsides not really matching up. And that's what is, for me, what was so discombobulating is, wow, there was a lot of it, but certainly when I was at my heaviest and my clothes didn't fit, but I was like, well, I mean, I feel okay. Like, what's the problem? Or even at my very slimmest, and I was too embarrassed to go outside because I just thought that I was too heavy, which is crazy. I know that it's crazy, but it was just the way that I was thinking. I was so uncomfortable in my own body, and for so long, I thought that it was all about the weight, 100% about the weight. And so that first time, well, I guess it wasn't the first time, but the first time in my, like as an adult, that I lost all of this weight, and it was very rigid, and it was very controlled, and it was very black and white. And I got down to a very, very thin size, but I didn't actually feel like I cared and loved myself. I didn't have that kind of like confidence and self-esteem that I thought I would get just by losing the weight.
Right.
And I got there and I was like, where is that? I didn't realize that there's another piece. And you mentioned it. It's that community. It's the compassion. It's the accountability. It's that learning to love myself along the way.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that's really exciting, and it honestly is, it's still exciting to get to like a goal weight or an ideal weight or a weight where you're not losing weight anymore. Like that is awesome. That is definitely where we want to get to. We're like, our clothes fit comfortably and we're like, okay, now it's time to maintain. And for a lot of us, we just kind of like, we put all our chips in just to get to that place and then forget that there's not really anything different that we need to do carrying on. We add a little more food, but there's still some things to work through. So I know that you have, you've gotten to that place. You lost a significant amount of weight, and by the way, awesome. And congratulations. And I'm so happy for you. And you just moved. Good Lord, this house you guys see behind her is her brand new home. It's so exciting. So you'll be able to like unpack all of your clothes and actually unpack all of those clothes that you haven't been able to fit into in a while, which is super exciting. I'm so jazzed for you about that. And also, just the reality that we still need that compassion, that love, that support, that stability, even more now that you're at a place where you're maintaining your weight loss. Will you speak to that a little bit?
It's kind of tricky to speak to because it's all like kind of new, even though, we talked about this. I have done weighing and measuring food and gotten to the weight. Actually, I was thinner in that program. And I am not interested in that this time right now anyway, which is really interesting. So yeah, those clothes now we all know the hold on to the clothes because you want to fit into them because, they're tiny clothes or whatever. Like, So anyway, yeah. So now I have clothes that I was thinner than this, and I'm just not interested in being that thin at this moment, which might sound really weird to people, but it's just, I'm just a different person this time. I have 3 children now. My body's different, and I'm just liking the way it looks better with a little weight. So, anyway, I'm getting off of topic a little bit here, but yeah. So I'm just noticing. So I have done. So this has happened for me before, and it's just for me. There's just always something to be paying attention to and listening for and watching because, like I said, I have eaten off of my plan a couple of times. The second that I eat off of my plan, I am shoveling everything into my face for the entire day. Like I literally don't know how to do it any other way or something, which is, I don't know what that is. We'll look into that. But it's, I don't know. There's a part of it that's like trusting this process that I know it works, and I don't have to be in this place of fear of like gaining so much weight that I'm going to be, that it's just never going to happen or devastating or whatever. And I don't know if that's good, bad, or otherwise, because there's no good or bad. It's just different. It's like, I don't think I'm really using it as an excuse, but I could be. And but what I've noticed is that so what I've noticed is that people that are similar to me are like, we're like opposites. So like in a lot of ways, right? So as a child, like I know that if I want to help a child who has similar weight issues as me, you don't say like, hey, don't eat that, and you know, all that stuff. It's literally the opposite of what you would like ever instinctually do, because that person is telling themselves that times a million and beating themselves up with it and then like eating. So like it doesn't make sense. There's no logical sense. There just isn't. So what I have today is like this freedom that you offer, that you've shown me, that I don't have to like beat myself up with the food just because I'm not doing what I had planned and what I really want to be doing. So it's so easy to go back to doing what I want to do. And then when I weigh myself, I'm shocked that I'm not, you know, gained 100 pounds in 2 days.
Right.
Because in my mind, I have, you know, in a certain way, you know, or whatever. So it's kind of hard, you know, those things are hard to explain, but I feel like that's kind of what has been up for me, you know. It's like that, as well as like, you know, self-image stuff, because I am a woman who's had 3 children and lost 50 pounds, 40 pounds in 6 months or something like that. And I'm, you know, so it's like, I live in America. I watch the same media, you know, like it's not, you know, it's just tricky. It's tricky sometimes with that, you know, like, but like you said, there is fun. There's fun to be had, you know. And I know Marion in the program, you know, talking about her clothes and like all this cute stuff that she's doing, and like, I just love it. You know, it's just different. It's COVID. I'm not out shopping. Like, it's just bought a house, so I ain't trying to shop, and like, you know, it's just all very, you know, strange and stuff. But there's, you know, there's ups and downs and all around. What I mostly, I would say, I'm just, it just feels so good. Like this day. Okay, so I'm just looking at this day. This day that I had yesterday where I was shoveling my face, I was like hard on myself the entire day. I was like, I didn't unload enough, unpack enough boxes, all this stuff. My husband came home, he's like, there's so many empty boxes on the porch. Like, it's fine. It's great. Today, I didn't unload a single box. I prepped food. I wrote my plan last night. I got up this morning with a fridge full of groceries because that's really important. Okay. I did not have a scale and I did not have a fridge full of groceries, and I ate, and it was not awesome. So here I am with a scale again and a fridge full of groceries and a plan that I wrote last night. So this morning, that's what I've been doing. Like I did the Zoom call with the ladies this morning in our group, which is incredible. And it freaking just transformed my whole view of everything. And then I had to self-care today, and I've been prepping food, and I don't feel like I didn't do anything in the house and I did bad and all this kind of weird stuff that I did to myself yesterday, because I am taking care of myself. I'm showing up to be my best me, and I feel good about nothing for the house. And it's all because, you know, I cleared my mind of the junk and the gunk and have a different perspective. I'm just going to do one thing at a time and my best and try to be, you know, go easy on myself.
I love that, because logically we know that information, right? I mean, it's not like you've never thought to yourself, just do one step at a time, be easy with yourself, self-care. Like those are wonderful words. But what I'm actually feeling from you is the feeling part. Like it made that, you know, what I've heard is like the 2-foot drop from the head, the logical understanding, down into the heart and the soul and the body, and just really letting go what you cannot control and taking care of yourself. And just the way that that shines through you is so evident. So thank you for sharing that with us. That was awesome. Yeah, it's been great. You know, it's been so wonderful. I think you were my first client in the program. I think you're number one. So that is just awesome and beautiful. You know, kind of the last thing is what was it for you that allows you to say yes to my program? Because I know that we all have resistance in different ways, right? And you could go down the list of the reasons that we give ourselves not to do something and not to take that forward, that step forward, make that investment for ourselves. And you did it. You said yes when I called you and said, "You want to do this with me?" Yes. Oh my God, yes. So what was it that made you say yes? And then if you want to just leave anyone else with some final thoughts, anything that you would share with anyone listening.
Okay. Well, as you guys can all tell, I'm very candid and upfront and open about exactly everything that I'm thinking in my mind. This is what it looked like. Okay. Rose, I don't know if you've seen where she shared her story, the whole thing. And I saw that. I had been going through some things where I just could not get my life together around food. I was, saying, oh, I know flour and sugar aren't great for me, so I'm going to cut them, and doing exactly what she said, which was, going to bed that night saying tomorrow's going to be different. And the first thing I shove in my mouth, it lets the whole day go. And so, she had told me about, wanting to, so anyway, she shared her story. I reached out to her and shared my entire story, which I don't think I've ever shared with anyone. And very similar, other than our childhoods and dieting, very, very similar. So, I can't remember exactly how it went down, but when, she reached out about the program, and I was super interested, and I was looking at my little list of weighing the food and, wrapping my head back around that kind of a thing. It had been a few years. And then, I felt like maybe gung-ho, but I kind of had a feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and then
That's
that was
right.
that.
You said no first. That's
Yep.
right. I forgot that part.
And I said, and so what happened was I got off the phone and had these beautiful ideas in my brain, and then it just went, and it was going to go. But I'm very open and honest. So I texted her, I texted or called or whatever. And I just kept her up to date. I was like, it's not happening. I'll let you know, but it's not now. And it wasn't, and it just wasn't. So, just before this COVID situation in March, I got a text from her, and it said, hey, I have revamped or whatever, really gotten this thing going. I've had help from a friend, and I'm ready to do this. You want to do this with me? And I was like, beep, 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 beep. I was just like, oh my God, literally I texted her everything that came into my mind, which was, oh crap, this is happening. This is totally happening. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was just all over the place. I was like, and what happened was I knew that it was time. I was so desperate to just feel better. I knew that flour and sugar were the devil and that I needed them out of my system. And I was literally the day before, but I had been doing this a lot of days before, but literally the day before, as desperate as I could have been, I was like, I have to start tomorrow without this stuff in my body. I have to try something. I have to do this. And I know without tools and a support group, it's just me saying it to my pillow at night and waking up the next day to 3 kids and eating all their leftovers and blah, 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 blah. So I said all of the beep words you could imagine, because I was just like, oh my gosh, you know what? Yes. Oh crap, frack. I just said yes. Oh my God, no. Okay, yes, because I knew I was torn in 2 different directions. This is going to be beautiful, wonderful, life-changing. And I could feel it. I could even feel forever, even though I can't even talk like that, but I could feel it, life-changing. And then over here, I'm like, shit, I know what this means when I tell somebody yes. and I commit, I'm doing it. Shit, I'm doing it. Oh God, I'm doing it, you know? And like, so it was just crazy, but it was wonderful and beautiful. The way it's set up, it just eases you into everything, which was just incredible. I haven't heard one person say, this is stupid. Why is it set up like this? Instead, it's like, oh my God, it's just so perfect. And then, you know, whatever, just the way it's all set up. And it's brought me to a whole nother place in myself that I never knew. It's not just about the food. And I knew that, but I didn't know how to work through all of that. You know, and I've tried with even other 12-step programs working around food, but the guided meditations that are offered and the accountability in the group and just the beauty of the way Rose, I can't even explain it, but it's like this intuition within the call, within the Zoom, where she just sits for a minute and then just says the most perfect thing to whomever it is. And it's just like, oh, it's just wow. And so it's just life-changing. It's changed me from the inside out, and I just keep going back. No matter, or not going back. I've learned to change my words. Course correct, to get on a path that I choose. And yeah, there's no going back. I'm here in this moment, and it's just beautiful.
I love that. What sprang to my mind as you were saying is you keep showing up.
Mm.
That's really, I mean, that's the biggest part. When I was teaching high school, that's what I kept telling the students. I'm like, just show up. Like,
Yeah.
come to class, just show up. That's the biggest part that people forget is we get sad and we get lonely and we get down on ourselves and then we hide, you know, and we don't want to show up. And so that's why I just love, and I thank you. I love all those wonderful words about me. It obviously isn't only me, right? It's the whole group and the way that everyone interacts together. It's so beautiful. It really is.
I have gained so much wisdom. You know what I've been going through, and like, yeah, the nuggets that these women offer up, I'm just like, it's just like takes my breath away. Like, that's why it's so nice. It's like accountability, but it's also just like this perspective that I just couldn't and wouldn't even see, you know. And my whole, like I said, my entire day has shifted having that Zoom call this morning. And like Rose said, I mean, you know, I have to at least give myself some credit, which is really hard for me to do or even say right now, because there's a lot, and I am not going to give up on myself. So just like the other ladies aren't giving up on themselves. So we just show up, and I show up, do what I can when I can, and try to, you know, and just make sure that I allow that to be enough and not use it, you know, whatever. Just trying that perfectionist thing, you know, doesn't have a place here. So it feels good.
It does feel good. It does feel good. And thank you for being my first. It'd be kind of lonely with just me in there, talking to myself all the time. Oh, it's awesome. Really beautiful. Oh, Natalia, is there anything else that you would like to say or share with the ladies listening?
I don't know. I guess, no, I think the main thing is just very simply like, if you think, I mean, if you're feeling like you want to get a hold on life, you know, in general, but especially if food is the main issue, this is just the perfect place, you know. And talking to Rose is just, it's just nice, you know. You can check in, and if it's not a fit, then it's not a fit. I mean, you know, but I just think when I just kind of push all those blah, 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 blah aside and just go, okay, what is this really bringing up for me? What do I really see and feel from this? And then what's the best thing to do? And, you know, and who knows, it's different for everybody, but yeah, slow down and listen to your guts.
Your guts. Beautiful. So if any of the ladies would like to reach out to you, is it okay if I tag you in the post up here? And if they maybe PM you, if they have any questions or want to chat with you, is that okay?
Absolutely. Definitely.
Awesome. All right, Miss Natalia, thank you so much for your time, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great
All right.
day.
Thanks. Bye. Bye, everybody.